Hey everybody, it's me, Peter. I'm joined by Anthopants and Hans Sardo. Today we're going to be talking. Today we're going to be talking about Star Wars: The Last Jedi. This was the middle film in the latest trilogy. The success of a middle film is determined by whether or not we're excited to see the next film. So, would you say you're excited to see Episode 9?
I'm very excited to see Episode 9.
Okay.
It wasn't as good as Empire Strikes Back. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And it didn't have the huge twist that it did in the original trilogy, but I like the direction. I like the new direction things are going in.
Okay. Was there something in particular that kind of got you excited? Pumped, like, all right, let's...
I was weirdly excited to find out that Rey's parents were nobody, because I felt like that was a good point to show that they're going to go in a different direction and they're not going to try and make something make sense from the old trilogy, and that's what I felt like they were going to try and do. And I think by going in a total different direction, I think that makes me excited for the next film.
Okay. And what about you? Are you excited to see Episode 9?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not hyped for it. I think this movie, it kind of killed it a little bit for me. Mentioning this movie and Empire Strikes Back in the same sentence is blasphemy as far as I'm concerned. You can't do it. But yeah, I think it took kind of what The Force Awakens set up for it, and it just didn't do anything with it.
Okay.
And then now I have to question, with so many characters gone now, where are they even going to take this from here?
I think that's the point, though, because there's no, it's a totally new story. So I think the point of this movie was to end the kind of the Skywalker story arc and start, now this is Rey's story. She becomes the main character, and it's not and movies aren't about the Skywalkers anymore.
Does that work for a second movie? Do you think they maybe should have done that for the first
movie? I mean, I think I was a little disappointed more with the first movie than I was with the second movie.
Okay.
After all the kind of all the high, when I was super excited to see the first movie because it's the first Star Wars movie in a long time, and when I first saw it, I was really happy and I really liked it a lot. But the more I watched it, it kind of just became more of the same thing to me. Like it's basically A New Hope again. And so I would have started the new story arc earlier maybe in the first movie, but I think they received a lot of backlash for this movie, so I think they wanted to make the first movie, make sure everybody loved it, and then they could go out and take chances. I think that's what ended up happening.
They really... Yeah, I kind of agree with what you're saying. I wish they actually, if they were going to go in this direction, just start it with Rey and Finn, the new cast, and then have it 100 years in the future. And Luke and all of them are just a distant memory and something to kind of look forward to. Hey, these guys did it, we can do it too. But instead, they had the new cast, the old cast, new characters. I just felt like it was a mess. It kind of just, in order to create this new story, they really just started murdering the old story. And not in a good way.
Sometimes literally.
Yeah, literally, it felt like they kind of murdered Luke and who Luke was in order to let Rey kind of pass that torch on to Rey. And I don't know if they needed to do that.
I kind of agree with that aspect because it is more interesting to me in what Luke has been doing in the time that has passed than I mean, not than her, but I think the thing that's lacking with the new trilogy is I think the main characters are great and the supporting characters are not. I don't think they have enough interest in one of my main complaints in the Last Jedi is Finn and his whole story is it's a total waste of time.
With the new character Rose.
Yeah, it's a total they go and do this plan that doesn't matter anyway, and then they just, I feel like their conflict was created to further the story of the movie, and that's it.
Yeah, in a movie that's 2.5 hours long, if you're looking to cut like a half hour,
right
there it is.
It was right there in the middle.
Just cut that casino part.
Yeah, with Benicio del Toro, and they're looking for this other guy, and then they immediately find, I can't get him, but okay, no, we found this other guy who just happens to be here, and we'll just take his word for it. And then it doesn't even matter anyway, and I agree. That whole part can go away, I think.
Benicio del Toro's character was a bit quirky. Did he fit in the Star Wars universe? Or did he seem kind of out of place? He just felt like Benicio del Toro. It's
tough to say because if you're looking at it from the perspective of what fits in the Star Wars universe and what doesn't, I have no idea anymore. You got the original trilogies, which feel like their own thing. Then you got the prequel, which feels like its own thing. The Force Awakens, Rogue One, now this. And they're just all kind of running in their own direction. Benicio del Toro fit perfectly in this movie because he didn't make any sense, and neither did this movie.
I don't know about that, but I hate it when movies do this, and they do it a lot. And they basically have a character in this movie so he can appear in the next movie, and that's what I feel like. All his character is going to be something significant in the next movie, and they just kind of briefly. Show him, and it's total waste to me. I hate it when they do that. And I think he can be. He's a very good actor. I like most everything that he's in. So I think he can be a weird little code breaker guy like he's supposed to do. But he barely had any screen time. His story didn't make sense at all. And like he betrays him at the end, and like you're not even asking why because you're like, who is that? I don't even remember who that is. So I think that if they handle it better, I think he could have been a very interesting character. I was really excited when I heard that he was going to be in it. But yeah, I think they totally wasted his character on that one, just to set up for the next movie. I guess.
Okay. As far as Luke is concerned, cynical Luke, I feel like in the original trilogy, Luke was an extremely hopeful character, and in this movie, he's very much a cynic. Do you feel like do you like what they did with his character? That he's been through a lot, and now he has more of a cynical view, or do you feel like that's kind of a huge departure from what the character is supposed to be?
I think it makes sense in the story arc personally, with him training. Kylo Ren, and then him becoming evil and killing everybody, and so I think it fits with the story. I like that his character is like that, but at the same time, I don't think they spend enough time explaining why he's like that. Like her whole training montage with him, I feel like is very quick, and like we were just discussing, if they would have cut out some time in the middle with the whole casino thing and kind of spend more time on Luke, because I feel like that's what everybody wants. Like Star Wars is Luke Skywalker, and now they're kind of changing the guard, but like he has to have. And I mean, I think it does fit with it, but I would have spent more time on his character in this movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even remember what the question was because I got so many problems with Luke Skywalker in this movie. I'm just going to go on a tangent here.
Go for
it. To me, what this movie is like there's a magician and he's got his top hat, right? And he's like waving his hand over it, and then he reaches his hand into the top hat. And now you're expecting he's going to pull something out. 2 years later, the magician pulls out nothing. And that's what it was like. It's like Luke takes the lightsaber and just hucks it over his shoulder. Nothing. And in the movie, it's kind of clever once, but the movie keeps doing it. The magician keeps reaching in and has nothing. It's like Snoke. Nothing. This. Nothing. They just kind of... It was almost like... is it Ryan or Rianne? It's Ryan, right?
What? Who?
Ryan Johnson, the director.
I think it's Rain.
It's like R-I-A-N.
You probably should have researched this before.
R-I-A-N. Okay, so
Ryan. that guy.
So I think he looked at every fan theory and was like, what hasn't been done? The thing that hasn't been done is Luke does nothing. Luke gets the lightsaber, everyone's like, now Luke like attacks Rey, like all these fans come up with all these, ridiculous things. And he's like, no one came up with Luke just grabs it and hucks it over his shoulder. Mm-hmm. No one came up with Snoke happens to be nobody. No one came up with Rey's parents are no one. Nobody would ever stoop to that minimal of nothingness, of just pulling out, like a magician constantly pulling out no rabbit out of the hat. Eventually you got to pull a rabbit out of the hat, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, but okay, but with on the topic of Rey's parents, don't you feel like it would be totally, completely forced if they're like, okay, you're Obi-Wan Kenobi's daughter, or something like that, and they tried to make it her a part of the original? I felt like that would have been just a total stretch, and it wouldn't have made sense even more.
I would have been. I don't know if they should have kept the lineage thing, because I think we've just had too much of that. Like,
right.
Anakin's so awesome, and then now Luke's awesome because he's Anakin's son, and now what? Rey's Luke's daughter or Rey's Obi-Wan's daughter? I agree with you. I think it would have been a little bit too much, but shouldn't she have at least been maybe one of Luke's students? At the very least. Like, why is she so force sensitive?
Yeah,
why is she so?
You bring up an interesting point for how strong Rey is right off the bat. Does it make sense that she's, like her parents are nobody? Why is she so strong?
At the same time, Anakin's parents are nobodies, correct? And he's one of the strongest.
I hadn't thought about that.
So
yeah, well,
I think it does make sense, but I think they should have. Instead of making a story out of nothing, I think they should have left her lineage like it is, but they should have had a backstory for Snoke at least. They should have explained something about him. I don't even know what to say about him because I have no idea who he is.
He had about 2 minutes of screen time.
I don't know. There had to be something lost in translation from J.J. Abrams directing to now Ryan. It's Ryan now. Takes it. Ryan takes it. And something got lost in translation there. Either that or J.J. once again just didn't have a plan. We've all seen Lost. J.J. doesn't have a plan.
Which could have been very well been the
case. This is actually, if you think about it, this is typical J.J.
Yeah,
right?
It really
it's come up with a character. They have a very troubled past, but we don't know what it is, right? We'll just find it out along the way.
Yeah, writers don't know what it is.
Yeah. They have parent troubles. They have trouble with their parents. Anyone who's seen Lost, this is all. Then there's like a mysterious monster.
So everybody's dead, is what you're saying.
We don't know what. Exactly. It's going to fizzle.
Everybody's dead.
It's going to fizzle. So I think that's what happened. I think JJ gave it over to Rhiann.
And was like, good luck.
And Rhiann was like, I don't. Like, you handed me the lightsaber, and I don't want it, man. Because you didn't have a plan.
So what do you think about Luke Skywalker's death and the final scene? I mean, I thought it was a very fitting end. I mean, obviously, I think you have some different opinions on it, but no, I liked it. I thought that that's the end of his story, and just like Obi-Wan, he realized his time was over, his training was complete, and now he's gone.
You and me are like, we're actually in the same circle in the sense that we're yin and yang. I'm like the complete opposite of where you are. I didn't like what they did with Luke. He did this forced projection, which we just see now in this movie. They hint to it takes a lot of energy. But Snoke's doing it. Snoke's been doing it the whole movie. Between Kylo and Rey, they keep meeting each other when Kylo's got his shirt off. A very
that was weird.
Needed scene, by the way. Shirtless Kylo.
Yeah.
And this, for some reason, kills Luke.
I think it's this. His purpose is over, because you could say that
he Obi-Wan'd it.
Yeah, he Obi-Wan'd it because he didn't.
Well, okay.
I mean, he didn't get. That should be a phrase. Anyway.
Obi-Wan. Okay, Obi-Wanning it. Obi-Wanning it is losing to win. So here's a misconception, at least for me. Obi-Wan was like, okay, there's Luke, right? Obi-Wan's standing there. He's dueling Vader. He's like, I don't know if I'm going to win this thing. He sees Luke. He's like, there's the future. I can't win it, but I can help him win it. And when Luke's, in the X-Wing, Luke's nothing special. But Obi-Wan's there with him. Use the Force. He's like training him along the way.
You're literally missing the whole point of this whole movie. Because I don't know if you watched it, but there's a whole part around right before he goes out where they talk about how the revolution needs a spark. All it takes is a spark. And so him dying in that case is the spark that they need. So it's a sacrifice that he makes.
No, I got that.
Viva Revolution.
What I think you missed was you didn't watch The Force Awakens where they set up all this stuff that just went like nowhere. And this stuff, when they're like talking about the spark and all this stuff, I don't know where JJ's taking. I think JJ's doing the next one. I don't know where JJ might be like, stink the spark. He's just going to kill everyone, and then we're just going to follow Kylo and Rey in their love affair, and they're going to go to Hawaii, right? They're gonna be on Wheel of Fortune together, like as a couple, and using the Force to like force Vanna to like flip things
that sounds like a first movie problem to me. Okay, that seems like the movie which I liked less, might I add, than this one. Because I feel like that, and that's also another J.J. Abrams thing where he does like the mystery box like thing where they're like, where's Luke gonna be? What's always gonna be for 5 seconds? Great. And then we're all going to hype up for this next movie. And that's what I don't understand is you don't have to hype up these movies. Everybody's going to go see them no matter what. No matter how bad people thought this movie was, everybody's going to go see the next one because you're not.
No, well, I will.
Right.
But I mean, I can't help myself.
Exactly, but that's how it is.
I don't think everybody will. I think some people are going to watch this one and then go, there's no way I'm watching the next one.
I don't know. I just feel like I don't like it when they do that kind of weird... It wasn't really a cliffhanger, but that kind of... Luke's in this movie, but then he's not really. I just feel like it's unnecessary. And I think, like it said, it kind of added a weird element to the movie. Yeah. Why isn't he in the movie from the very beginning? You can set up so much more. But they didn't want to take the chance with the first movie, and they did with this one.
I'll tell you what I think might happen. Maybe. Okay, the first one, The Force Awakens, people went and saw it because they're like, Luke Skywalker is going to be in this film. And he was in it for 5 seconds. He did that awesome turn,
Right.
Yeah. But at least he was in it. This one, people saw it because Luke Skywalker was in it. The next one, now we know he's not going to be in it.
That's not true at all, though.
You think he might come back as a Force ghost?
Absolutely he's going to come back as a Force ghost. Come on.
Are people going to want to watch
Of course they
Luke
are.
Skywalker?
It's better than CG Hayden Christensen in the original movie. And people still watch that.
Well, okay. You'd be excited to see Force Ghost Luke in the third one?
I think it definitely fits.
Were you happy to see Frank Oz reprise Yoda?
Oh, absolutely. Yoda? Absolutely. And I totally was. And I thought it was a very great scene. And I thought it played very well with the story. And that aspect of the story I completely liked. I think everything made sense. And it
Force Ghost Yoda. Go.
Okay, Yoda, when we were first introduced to Yoda on Empire Strikes Back in Hoth, Yoda was a silly character because he was poking at Luke to figure out, what's this guy's temperament? Is this someone I can train? Is he too old and washed up already? And then when we, came to this part, Yoda's still goofy Yoda. Yoda isn't actually like that. Yoda's the guy who was like, you will be. You're gonna be scared, man. You're gonna fail. You need to don't be giving me this I'll try stuff. You do it or you don't do it.
When you first see Yoda, it's an act he's putting up to test Luke's patience.
In this one.
And in this one, he's just kind of having
He turned back into the Sesame Street character.
Okay.
What happened to
Maybe he
serious
feels
Yoda?
comfortable around Luke Skywalker now after all of these years
Yoda likes
of
playing
force
the clown.
projection talking.
Yoda prefers to play the clown. He doesn't actually like being the tough teacher. He wants to play the silly Yoda all the time. I can't wait to meet silly Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I don't think No, I don't think they're going to do that. But I liked it.
Why didn't they just put in Ewan McGregor and have him play as Obi-Wan? And have him as the Force Ghost? Why not go that route instead? Wouldn't that make more sense? In some ways, at least?
But not really, because Yoda was the one who trained him, not Obi-Wan.
So. I guess so.
And he knew Obi-Wan. And which I agree. I don't know. I don't understand why they're not utilizing Ian McGregor at some point.
Yeah. Is it Ian or Ewan?
Ewan, whatever.
Can we get anyone's name?
I call him Ian because I'm an American.
Ryan. Look, it's Ryan McGregor.
I'm an
Lick
American.
Skywalker. Lick Skywalker.
But Ewan McGregor, I think, would be a fantastic. Wait, this is in the future. Great, right?
Well, there was a lot of hype. You both said it now. For this middle movie, there was a lot of hype for Snoke. There was a lot of hype for Luke. It kind of fizzled out. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Do you think that they're going to try and hype up anything for the third movie in terms of bringing back like maybe an old character?
Oh, I hope.
And if so, do you have any characters in mind that they might?
I hope.
Jam into that third movie.
I hope they don't, because that would go against everything I think this movie set up to do in terms of setting in the new direction. So I think if they do bring back an old character, I think it would be very counterproductive. If they did, it'd have to be something stupid and small. Some kind of.
Which character do you think?
Oh man,
Jabba's son.
No. I don't know.
What about you? Yeah.
What about Lando Calrissian?
Yeah, I was kind of expecting some Lando in this film, and I thought when they went to the casino, that's kind of what popped in my head.
Right.
You want a codebreaker, high class guy?
Yeah.
Why not Lando?
But that's a weird character.
But I think Rian knew that. This is just it. Rian didn't want to do anything where he assumed the audience could guess it, which isn't always the best way of going. Because then you have Luke throwing lightsabers. You got Rey's parents being nobody. You got Snoke being a nobody. Everything just starts fizzling. You got Akbar. Admiral Akbar got killed in this film. Did anyone realize that one?
Really?
Yeah. It's a trap. It's a trap.
It just kind of like came and went.
When they're getting chased on the...
With Leia, where Leia got blown out into space.
Oh, can we talk about that for a minute?
Yeah.
I hated that part. I heard a review.
Are we going to agree on something?
I think so. I heard a review before I saw the movie.
I was expecting you to be like, I love that part.
I hated that part a lot.
I wanted to go out there with her.
I heard a review, and they were like, yeah, there's this really weird Harry Potter sequence, and it's not going to make any sense. Like, you'll know. Yeah. And when I saw the movie, I was like, oh... Like, that's exactly what they're talking about. I think I like that she didn't die in this movie. I think the correct way to start the next movie is probably a giant funeral for her in some sort of sense. But I hated every part of that scene. I don't like how she survived space. I don't like the weird kind of Harry Potter fly through the air, and I don't know how you could have done that differently. There had to have been some sort of other way, or not show it at all.
I think it was just this. The tough thing is that Carrie Fisher actually passed away.
Right.
That's the toughest part.
Right.
I think they had it planned exactly the way that they did it, which I'm kind of happy about. And maybe in 10 years, when people kind of forget that these characters she passed away so soon, right when the movie was released.
Right.
Someone can watch that scene and be like, and they'll fully expect she's going to get killed.
Right.
For the right reasons, which is Kylo killed his father, Han Solo. Han Solo died last film, and now, obviously, his mom's going to die in this one. Only she doesn't. So in that way, it was kind of like, it was almost like a good twist that she didn't die. The execution of it was terrible because
I agree.
The images, like you think of
comical.
So many like. Is this Harry Potter? Is this Mary Poppins? Is this Dune with that giant fat guy in the suit laughing and like the guy that laughs in Mary Poppins, that guy as well, or Mary Poppins herself, or there's so many different like comical things that came to my mind when I saw it. I couldn't help it.
Yeah, it was very bad. I 100% agree.
Wow! Look at that yin and yang getting together.
Not
finally
insane at all.
The Sarlacc pit from Return of the Jedi.
No, that didn't look like a butthole that had teeth. This literally looked like a butthole, like in the ground, like someone made it. I don't want to get graphics.
That's where the dark side is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The dark side's in the butthole.
It's the butthole. Yeah, and then she goes into the butthole to find the dark side.
That's what I'm saying.
She didn't like
it
what
makes
she found.
too much sense.
Did that part even make sense with the mirror?
Sorry, I needed to do that.
Did that part with the mirror even make sense?
It kind of was.
She's like, da, 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 da. You know?
I don't
even remember what scene you're talking about.
Are we live right now?
She goes,
we are live right now.
Hold on.
I was going to get it started again.
I'll explain it. She goes into
the butthole.
Okay.
The brown
she goes
butthole.
into the butthole.
It looks like a butthole.
Yes,
if you watch the movie when she dies down, because it's just weird. I'll explain it. I'll explain it to you because I don't want you to think I'm just saying this because it's like a hole in the ground. Like, no. Like, there's like plants and things, and they create like little wrinkles inside. It looks exactly like a butthole. I don't know if you've ever seen. I'm an adult, so I've seen another adult's butthole, and that's what it looks like in the ground. We might have to cut that out, but that is a butthole.
We're not cutting it.
I forgot what we were talking about. I totally remember.
Okay, she goes into the butthole. That's what we're calling it. This is the scientific name.
The dark side butthole.
There's no coming back.
Yeah,
there's no coming back.
She goes straight to the dark side.
And
the dark side is the butthole. And then she sees herself because she's looking for her parents. She's like, "Show me my parents." You know,
it was love.
She's
Harry.
like, "Beast, yeah, show me the beast." Only, it's like if Beauty was like, "Show me the beast," and then Belle just sees herself in the mirror. Oh, that's how silly.
Okay, I think when I saw that, that was a callback to Empire Strikes Back.
I know.
With the thing. So you do know what it is, but then you present an argument like you have no idea.
The cool thing about Empire Strikes Back was it was symbolic. Here comes Vader. Luke kills Vader. Luke turns into Vader. Vader's his father. It's all like the more you watch it, the more layers this.
I understand,
has.
But it's like
this scene was like, "Show me my parents." Oh, you're your parents.
No, I don't think.
She's like an immaculate conception.
I
of
think
herself.
it's the more the idea of when Luke, like who you really fighting. Oh, you're fighting yourself. Like that was the point of that scene in Empire Strikes Back. And this one, her whole thing is who she wants to know, but she's missing the big picture. You have to find yourself.
You gotta find yourself.
Right.
In the mirror.
That's the worst metaphor.
And it's not. That's a very common metaphor.
Kung Fu Panda had a better metaphor where he's like the dragon warrior and he's looking at the scroll and he sees his reflection and there's nothing on the scroll. It's like, believe in yourself.
How does that even make sense? Because why would a scroll have a reflection? Okay.
Because it was painted with lacquer.
I don't think
that's why. Everyone knows
that's a very big plot hole in Kung Fu Panda that everybody knows.
Very big butthole.
And it's really,
I work in scroll conservation. I know what it takes.
They have a certain shine. But I agree. I don't. That part was weird.
Okay.
But
agreeing that it was.
But
weird.
it wasn't. I think it was weird. But it was also weird in Empire Strikes Back when he does that. You don't know what the hell is going on.
It is weird. It's kind of a trippy thing. But trippy things were kind of a thing back then.
I mean,
like Dumbo. Yeah. You watch Dumbo. Like a lot of movies back then had some weird psychedelic, ridiculous, over the top scenes.
Right.
In this, it was out of nowhere.
I agree, but like I said before, I just think I felt like they were trying too hard to make sure the movie wasn't just about Luke Skywalker and try and include other things. And I think that was a mistake in this aspect. I think they should have spent more time on him because number one, that's what everybody wants. Nobody cares about what they're doing on this gambling planet, and nobody really cares about that. And if that would have been more secondary, then I feel like the movie would have flowed a lot better and people would have got more what they wanted.
Yeah, with Rey, that whole scene where she starts seeing her reflection and she's like snapping and going, to me that kind of felt like a music video. But I feel like they spent a lot of time suggesting that she was being drawn to the dark side, and they even used some like filmic techniques. When she was talking to Kylo, she has a single tear and it kind of like mimics his scar and everything, and that kind of fizzled out too. I would have liked to see Rey actually get tempted by the dark side.
I wanted her to turn so bad.
Yeah.
I felt like that would have, if they would have went that direction, and maybe even if Kylo would have turned also the other way and they would have switched, I would have liked that. But yeah, I felt like their story arc it fizzled out at the end there as well. I feel like they could have, if they really wanted to go in a new direction, then yeah, why not have her turn evil?
Yeah, that's actually what I was hoping for, was that she would turn evil and Kylo would kind of find his way back to the good side.
Right.
Is that something that crossed your mind, or something you hoped for? Or?
When I was watching the film, it didn't cross my mind because they've been playing it so safe that I just assumed the safe thing. But I think what Rian did was he was like, okay, if I reach into that magician's hat, Rey turning to the dark side is me pulling out a rabbit. But I have to just pull out nothing. So let's have a build-up to Rey turning dark and Kylo turning light. Like, Kylo doesn't kill Leia. He doesn't do it. He doesn't take the shot. So it's showing that conflict. And he doesn't want to be the bad guy, maybe, anymore. He wants to be the good guy. And Rey's like, Luke's like, you just go right to the dark side. You're a crazy, crazy lady.
Right.
And she's like, it's no big deal. I like the going down into the butthole.
I would have liked to see more conflict on her part, because it doesn't balance itself out. I feel like they try and make her seem like she's very conflicted and trying to decide, but in reality she's really not. They don't face any kind of challenges, and whereas on the other end, Kylo Ren is very conflicted, and there's many examples of him being that, except for murdering his father like really, really fast.
Yeah.
But
it's like almost instantly Snoke dies.
Yeah, and
then Kylo's like, all right, I'm in charge now.
Yeah.
And Rey's gone.
Yeah, and there was no. That was a very quick scene, and yeah, like I said, the ideas I really liked in this movie, but I feel like a lot of them were poorly executed, and they spent way too much time on very stupid things. Like why do I need to know who are the little frog creatures that are taking care of the island?
Why even have them there?
I don't. Yeah, and I don't know why there's a giant milk dragon that we need to see for a couple minutes.
Wait, are we going to talk about that?
Are we going to talk about the milk dragons?
Luke goes
nozzling milk.
Yeah, Luke milks a giant sea cow thing.
Yeah.
What did it look like? It looked like a weird. It looked like Gonzo, like maybe Gonzo's weird
with
cousin.
nipples.
Like Gonzo's cousin mixed with a cow. And he goes. And the thing that I was surprised about is that Luke actually brought a container rather than just went straight off of it. That's what I was like. Why didn't you just go all the way there?
You're right.
If you're gonna be crazy, let's go crazy.
Run off the teat. Yeah, that I don't know. That was I like the porgs though.
You like the porgs?
I enjoyed the porgs.
What was the porgs?
They remind me of my dog, if we're being honest, because he's useless.
I heard.
What kind of dog do you have again?
I have a pug.
A pug. That's right.
The birds reminded you of your dog.
Yeah.
Well, the pug. I think the porgs was based off of like you mix a penguin and a pug.
Yeah,
and that's what you get. You get a porg.
I agree.
Pug and porg even sound kind of the same.
I think Yeah, that's why I like it.
It was a terrible decision.
I heard that part of the reason why they included them in the first place was because there were actual birds that were native to the island that they couldn't get rid of, and so they put these CG birds over them. That's how they created them.
Strange choice.
I don't remember where I heard that. I hope it's not totally wrong, and I'm just making up stories now. But I heard that somewhere, so I hope that's true.
I heard they were trying to make money off of toys and having a cute little penguin pug.
That's literally what Star Wars is all about from day one. There are so many useless Star Wars toys, and it doesn't. What I'm saying is they don't spend a significant amount of the movie discussing the porg's backstory about where it came from. They're just there and they annoy Chewbacca, and it's funny to me.
You don't making Star Wars cute though. I think is where Return of the Jedi dropped the ball. Like Star Wars wasn't cute. There wasn't a single cute thing in Star Wars other than maybe like Carrie Fisher back in those days.
Oh, yeah.
A cute thing in Star Wars until the Ewoks came along, and they were the worst part of Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Let's not say anything we're going to regret here. We wouldn't have Yub.
I mean, that's fair, but I don't feel like the Porgs hurt anything. I feel like they're there. It's nice, like they annoy Chewbacca because he's there for no reason.
What was with that?
And well, I mean, he's just taking her places, I guess, and he's looking out for her. But
why even have him? Why have him occupy such a small role in the film?
Because I think they're just holding on still. They have to hold on.
Are they going to kill him?
What are they going to do?
Are they going to murder Chewbacca?
That's what I mean. Like, they can't kill him.
Off all the old characters just one by one.
No, he's infinite.
Chewbacca gone.
He's in the original.
Melted.
He's in the...
R2-D2 gets his head blown off again, just like he did in A New Hope. Only this time they can't fix him.
Oh, yeah, and were they...
I think they were.
They were barely in it. I think
they were.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sure C-3PO said something annoying.
Yeah.
But this is the problem with mixing the old cast and the new cast. Because let me give you a comparison. Finn is C-3PO. That's who Finn is. He's that character, right? He escapes the battle. He's always running away. Like, R2-D2 is like, we got to get these plans to the princess. C-3PO is like, I don't want anything to do with that. Right. I'm running away. Finn's all in it for himself. Then Finn, at the end of The Force Awakens, turns into Han Solo, who comes back. The guy who doesn't want anything to do with it, but comes back. They mixed Han Solo and C-3PO and made Finn. Am I right or am I right?
Yes. That weirdly makes sense. But yeah, I don't understand what his purpose as a character is in this movie or in these trilogies yet. I don't understand. I feel like his the whole story arc is them doing a useless task for a thing. I want to talk about that for a minute. Okay, so they're being chased by the Empire, right? And they need to figure out what to do. And Princess Leia is in a coma or whatever, and it's Laura Dern. I don't remember her character name.
Purple hair.
So she's put in charge,
right? Admiral
and
Purple
she
hair.
has a very conflict with Poe, and Poe takes over and decides to do his own thing, and we know what happens. That conflict makes no sense to me. So they're running away, and he's like, "Hey, like, what's going on? Like, what's the plan?" And she's like, "We're just gonna keep going. Everything's great." He's like, "I don't think we should do that, because of this, and this." And she's like, "Yeah, we're just going to keep going and doing it." And then, like, why wouldn't she be like, "Okay, we're just going to do this, and this is the plan"? I don't understand why this guy who's a high-ranking member of this organization is not privy to this information that is useless. I mean, they waste so much time creating this conflict, and then she's like, all of a sudden, this like angel and sacrifices herself. But I feel like the conflict was purely created in the story aspect of it, and it made no sense once it played out.
Well, you gotta set that up. So if you got like a military operation and you're setting up, there's a chain of command, and you're in this chain and you just shut up and do what you're told, then it's believable. But Poe wasn't that character.
Right.
Leia's like telling Poe, like, hey, don't do this, don't do that, and Poe's still going out and doing it. So if Admiral Purplehair had any sense about her at all, what she would do is tell Poe the plan, because otherwise Poe does whatever he wants to do.
Exactly.
You're not a good leader if you don't know the people directly below you.
And especially because like the plan wasn't anything different from what they were doing anyway. So they're like, what are we going to do?
We're coasting.
We're just going to run away. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm going to take over this thing, and then Leia's going to wake up. Like, what's the plan? Oh, we're just going to keep going.
It's like that entire conflict only existed to give Finn something to do.
Yeah, they only and I don't like his character.
I'm gonna love interest.
I'm gonna clue you into something because I'm assuming me and Rianne Johnson are about the same age. Maybe he's a bit older. Okay. But back in the day, there was a slow speed chase with O.J. Simpson, and it was thrilling. And Rian Johnson was trying to recapture that and failed miserably. A slow-speed chase in space is not exciting.
That's a bit of a reach for me. I don't think it was OJ-esque at all. But
no, I'm saying it wasn't. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
He saw the OJ thing and was like, I'm going to recreate this and make it just as good. And you can't do it.
Right.
It was lame. That's what I'm saying. Are we agreeing on stuff?
Yeah, we agree.
Okay, so we're getting to the bottom of the barrel here.
The
bottom stuff where
right.
no one in their right mind can say that a slow speed chase in space is actually good.
Right,
Okay.
I agree.
Good.
And it was very weird how they resolved it. They're like, oh, we're just gonna go invisible and fly with these little ships. Like, why weren't we just doing that when all these other people died?
Why couldn't they see the small ships?
I don't know. You would think with all that space technology.
How many ships were blown up during that slow speed chase?
All of them.
All of them.
Because if flying one ship through a fleet is that effective...
Yeah, why didn't they do it like
don't you
four
think-
You're talking about the
times?
hyperspace?
yeah. I mean,
they're
like...
gonna die anyway.
If you're going to be sacrificing all these ships that have hundreds of people on them, why not just, like, start hyperspacing people, like, kamikaze, like, right into the fleet?
Just leave one person behind.
Yeah.
One purple-haired
Leave
person
one
can get
purple-haired
left
person.
behind every ship and save an entire fleet.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, okay.
It was oddly effective for how, like...
The problem with
for how much danger they were in.
The problem with coming into Star Wars when you're coming into episodes 8, 7, 8, and 9, is that you have so much inconsistency. So let me give you guys a little Star Wars lesson, okay? Okay. Hyperspace can't be used as a weapon. Otherwise, they'd be using it as a weapon all the time. They could have blown up the Death Star with a single, I don't know, a little
unmanned.
Yeah, like just. Yeah. Or even like, Luke's like, forget this. Like, hey, Luke, you missed the thing. Forget it. Hyperspace right into the little thing and just blow the whole thing up.
It's true.
So that doesn't work. That's an inconsistency.
It'd be a bad movie.
I'm telling you. Here's the other inconsistency. This is a big one, and everyone's going to agree with me when I say it. It's going to be amazing.
All right. Let's hear it.
You can't use the Force to lift things that are organic.
What?
Listen, this is important. This is important. Okay, watch. The most force anyone ever uses against another human being using the Force in the original trilogy is Vader choking people, which is like, 2 pounds of pressure? That's the strongest you can do to another life form using the Force. That's why when he's got Yoda on his feet and Luke falls, Yoda doesn't just float to the ground. Why not? Yoda's 900 years old. He could break a bone if he falls on the ground. Yoda falls. The Emperor, he throws the Emperor.
Yeah,
the Emperor falls.
He lifts the X-Wing out of the swamp.
It's not organic. This is what I'm saying. An organic being has its own force, and you can't disrupt that. If you're a powerful enough Force user, you can maybe inflict about 10 pounds worth of pressure.
So what you're saying is
you can choke people, and that's
about it. That's about it.
If
you can't just be flinging people across the room.
If Yoda has the power to lift an X-Wing,
yes,
and it works on organic matter, then he could just crush people.
Yes,
and rip them apart with his head.
Exactly. Why does Yoda fall? Why doesn't Yoda just float? If he weighs 20 pounds, he lifted a 2-ton X-Wing. It doesn't make any sense. Why did the Emperor fall? If the Emperor is one of the most powerful Force users, why did he fall? The guy weighs 120 pounds soaking wet. He's a little dude, okay? He's a little dude. He could float himself.
Okay, that's...
Right?
Right, okay.
But what they did was, in the prequels, they were like, George Lucas saw too many video games where the guys were just doing all this crazy, stupid stuff. It doesn't work in the world. It just doesn't.
Stronger.
They're not strong.
Back then.
They're not strong.
In the old days.
Yeah, the old
days of the old Republic.
Yoda was a real hack. A real hack of a Jedi. He couldn't even Force lift himself. Yeah. When Luke couldn't lift the rocks and fell while he's doing the upside. Yoda was the weirdest trainer on the planet, by the way.
That's true. Almost as weird as Luke was.
Yeah, Luke, where was the training? That's what I want to know.
That's true.
Was it non-existent?
I mean,
Can we get into that? Can we get into that with Rey?
His training session was with Rey?
Just Rey in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Rey OP? Is Rey overpowered?
I mean, based on what we've seen,
Yes.
You think? Well, actually, in that aspect, because if you look at how easily she fights Kylo Ren, who's been had incredible training from 2 different people
and
at this point, right? And it's supposed to be from a lineage that's the most powerful. So yeah, I think. But so is Luke Skywalker, though.
No, not even close. Right? Well, okay. Well, let's stick.
In Empire Strikes Back, he's just out of the swamp, and he's going to fight the most powerful Jedi in the universe.
He doesn't stand a chance against Vader. Vader's like toying with him the whole time. The moment Vader gets serious, Luke loses a hand. That's what happens. Vader gets serious, Luke loses a hand.
Yeah, I do really like how much subtext is in the actual lightsaber battle in Empire Strikes Back. You can see Vader kind of like egging Luke on and forcing him to come forward, trying to get him to attack. And then Luke gets a lucky shot off on his shoulder, and then Darth Vader makes that noise, and then immediately cuts his hand off. And it's like he gets frustrated because Luke actually hit him, and then cuts his hand off.
Vader ain't
so I gotta agree.
Let's start with the first movie because when I saw the Force Awakens, I went, Rey is so overpowered. I don't understand why she's so good with the Force. And what everyone said to me was, wait till the next movie. Well, I waited. And she's even more overpowered now. Because at least when you watch the first movie, you're like, maybe there's some explanation.
It's because she touched the ground and she felt it.
She felt stuff in the ground.
She went through the butthole in the ground.
Yeah, I think she's incredibly overpowered. I actually like Daisy Ridley though. I do too.
I like her character.
I think she's gorgeous, which helps for me at least.
It's true.
I mean, No,
I like her, but yeah, I just a lot of the training and a lot of the knowledge I guess she gains in this movie I guess happens off screen, and that's very confusing. But then yeah, I think she's very overpowered, especially because we don't really know anything about her backstory or anything like that. So I mean, yeah, I guess there are a lot of holes in this movie.
Well, now it's another question of wait till the third one,
right?
Because in the third one they might backtrack and be like, no, actually your parents were nobody, but you were trained by Luke, and now you came back and Luke didn't want to deal. They might pull that. Who knows what JJ's going to do?
Who knows?
There's going to be a smoke.
Who is it? Do they know who's doing the third movie yet? Have they said?
I don't know.
Or do we know? I don't know. Should look that up. Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about the sexual tension? Because there seemed to be sexual tension between Rey and Kylo, which
I guess that's what that shirtless scene would try and hint at, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they've been kind of pushing for some sexual tension with Rey and Finn a little bit in the first movie, and then just kind of scrapped it. And then in this one, I feel like they were kind of pushing a little sexual tension with Rey and Kylo. Maybe it's just me, but
I'll say this: I think it might just be Finn, because if they were trying to push that kind of a relationship between Rey and Finn, and they really just didn't have any chemistry. And then Rose comes into the picture, and then she plants the kiss on Finn. And I was like, and anyone I've ever talked to, they're like, what? Where did that come from? Maybe it's him. He just doesn't have that chemistry.
I definitely saw that coming, because I just kind of figured once he got paired up with her, okay, that's what it's going to be. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's his character, if it's him as the actor, but since the first movie, have found nothing interesting about this character at all, and I've really tried. I think that Poe, Jason Isaacs, really carries him throughout the first movie because all you care about is his character, and he's not even in it for most of it. And then, by the time he is, he's with Finn, so that kind of carries him. But then in this movie, when Finn is kind of by himself, I feel like that's when you go to the bathroom, in this movie, if you want, if you need to go,
start texting.
Do you need a popcorn refill?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know what it is that I don't like about him. I think there's just a general. He's not like a special. He's just there.
I liked him in the first film. I liked the whole. There's a stormtrooper. There are these brainwashed people. He's kind of trying to get away from that.
But they do nothing. They do nothing with that.
He can't find his way in the world. And I was hoping once again. This is the main problem with this film. We keep saying the same thing, that they're doing nothing with anything. But I was hoping in this film they were going to take it that step farther. But they didn't.
Right.
Because you're still like, who is this guy? Is he the guy that's running into the battle or away from the battle?
Right.
Is he the Finn at the beginning where he takes off his stormtrooper helmet and he's like taking off? He's the C-3PO running away, right. Or is he the Han Solo at the end with the Millennium Falcon who's like, "Woo yay, let's get these guys, kid! Yeehaw!"
And I feel like one of his very good person. And I feel like one of his hype moments throughout the trailers was like how he was going to fight Captain
Phasma,
right? Again, and I feel like that was very underwhelming as well.
What'd you think of BB-8 in the AT-AT? Do you remember? Do you guys even remember this scene?
I don't know. Oh,
they're in the ship, and BB-8 takes off, and then all of a sudden, an AT-AT is just blasting all the bad guys, and BB-8 is in there controlling it with like two little like arm things that he now has.
Well, he is a very special robot.
This guy, I mean, if you're comparing every single character, Finn is C-3PO mixed with Han Solo. BB-8 is obviously R2-D2, and Rey, I would say, is Obi-Wan Kenobi from the originals. She's the wise know-it-all who can do everything and is
monosyllabic.
Yeah.
I don't
Obi-Wan. There's no Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, I mean, now that you think, now that I'm kind of thinking about it, I mean, she's good at everything, isn't she? And
she
so
really is,
I feel like maybe they thought they were going somewhere with the character, and then we're like, just go somewhere else, and we'll make her this. And yeah, because I remember in the first movie, in The Force Awakens, she can fly the Millennium Falcon immediately, and knows how to do everything, and
I think she talks droid and Wookiee.
Yeah.
I think she talks to Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make a lot of sense for someone who's only been on Jakku her entire life.
Yeah, because Luke and Leia didn't know what Chewbacca was when they first saw it. Like, Chewbacca's supposed to be this unique, rare thing.
Yeah.
But most people talk to Chewie, though, I think.
Yeah, but they don't understand what Chewie's saying. That's the thing. She, I think, actually understands what Chewie's saying. And she understands BB-8 as well, so she speaks droid.
It's true.
Like, C-3PO used to have to translate R2 for a while, and then, like, Luke, by Empire, because he spent so much time with R2, could talk to R2.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe they're trying to do a little fake out with the second movie, and there's going to be a huge reveal.
The second movie is a giant fake out. You waited 2 years for the magician to
that is the most J.J. Abrams thing that you could possibly do.
For the magician
everyone expects the huge reveal in the first movie, but we're not going to give them that. Yeah. Everyone's then going to wait for the second movie, and we're not going to give them that. Yeah. And then the third movie, then he's going to be like, we're just going to reboot the trilogy
what they're trying
and make
to do,
3 more.
I think what they're trying to do is make the biggest letdown in cinema history.
I mean, but how do you...
They're going to make
how
the
is
third
it
movie
not...
and nothing's going to happen.
There's no way that it can't be a letdown in some way, though. I feel like, especially with Star Wars and movies like this, there's so much hype and there's so much expectation for it. And even with the first movie that was critically and pretty much everybody liked... there were still complaints about it, and I feel like there's no way it's never gonna live up to the hype, obviously, and it's never gonna be the original trilogy, no way. And the first 3 movies never happened, but
you're erasing the
I
would erase the prequel.
No, that's a different. That's for a different time.
But we're keeping Jar Jar for some
Jar Jar.
Some masochistic reason. We're gonna keep Jar Jar around.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's ever going to live up to
No, I agree. When I saw The Force Awakens, I wasn't crazy about it, but I felt like that's about as good as they probably could have made the first Star Wars movie coming back.
Right.
And but this one, well, it sounds like you liked this one more than the first. I liked The Force Awakens about 10 times more than this.
I liked it more just for weird reasons, though. I feel like I don't want to see...
Yoda. Love the porgs.
Porgs, sea cows, Snoopy Yoda,
buttholes in the ground.
Yeah.
I don't want to see the original trilogy again, and I feel like this was a different step. And I mean, I definitely have my complaints about this movie, but my main complaint about The Force Awakens was it's literally the same. It's a New Hope.
It's a retread.
It's the same movie, and in this one it was different. So I'm encouraged. This one, it makes me feel better about the third movie.
Well, JJ's retaking it up, so it might just be a Return of the Jedi.
I hope not.
We're gonna get Ewoks
because
again.
they need to. That's their problem. They've made 2 movies now. One they were safe, and one they weren't so safe.
Yeah.
Now they need to commit to one of those. You need to, which I don't think they should be safe, but you either need to totally make the third one, back to what everyone's comfortable with about some sort of Skywalker, or you just need to go in a complete direction completely.
This is always something that I'm afraid of, which is you come out with The Force Awakens, it's basically a retread, and everyone goes, this is too similar.
Right.
So then they go, okay, fine, we're going to go the exact opposite. We're going to give you something you'd never seen before. Good, bad, or indifferent. Right. Here it comes, The Last Jedi. And now you got both people, the same person basically, saying the same, completely opposite things. This is too similar. This is too different.
Right.
I don't think Disney knows what the heck to do now.
Yeah, and I think they're kind of in a turmoil at this point. But that I don't know. I really liked Rogue One. I know we're not talking about that, but I think
I didn't like it.
I liked it because it had the freedom to do whatever it really wanted. I mean, they're in a universe, obviously, but they don't have to kind of abide by a storyline. And if people don't like it, then it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah,
because it was that
it's a one-off.
Right. I feel like and you can just ignore it after that. And I feel like I really enjoyed that one because they made their own story and it fit in however it fit in. And if you liked it, you did, and if you didn't, you didn't. But the problem with the trilogy is that they have to follow this lineage. So it's like either just stick to what you know, or you got to commit. You got to pick something.
So we've talked about how there's a lot.
I'm okay. I can keep it together.
So we talked about how there's a lot of hype for both movies. There was a lot of hype towards Snoke, and that kind of fizzled out, like him being the threat. Kylo has now gotten his butt kicked twice. For the third movie, what is actually the threat? What are we actually scared of in the third movie?
Well, they've already showed Kylo without his shirt on.
That was scary.
Maybe they'll take it to the next level. You know what I mean? No, I don't know what the threat is. That's the whole thing. Kylo's gotten beaten. He got annihilated in The Force Awakens. Annihilated. And then in this one, he didn't... I mean, I guess he killed Snoke through trickery, but he still isn't really...
also with the help of Rey kind of as well.
Yeah, so he's not a threat at all. I would assume that if Kylo and Rey went up against each other, Rey would just easily handle him.
I think with this movie, I think with the next movie, they're going to have to... there's going to have to be some time that takes place in between these movies, and they're going to have to come up with something to work. Kylo kind of reestablishes himself. Hopefully, it's not another Death Star. Again.
It's gonna be. I don't think. I'm giving it like 10 to 1 odds.
Is it going to be like Return of the Jedi Death Star, where it's just half of the planet?
It's going to be it's going to be the planet killer.
Right, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, under construction. The planet killer under construction. But it's shielded by the forest moons of Endor.
And there's, I think a lot of people are going to be upset if that's the case. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I think they need to reestablish him in some sort of way, either in the very beginning of the next movie or something has to take place off screen.
Well, let's say Rey goes dark and Kylo goes good in the next film. Now there's a threat. Rey is a threat.
I wish that would happen, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it will either, but I think that's the only way to
I agree. I think
that
that's really what I kind of wanted to see when I saw this movie. That was my theory, I guess, of what was going to happen, and that's what I wanted to happen.
I keep thinking that joke you said.
The butthole?
No. Well, no. But anyway, I keep thinking of that joke you said.
Kylo Ren's nipples?
Yes.
They're very threatening. But...
keep it together.
It wasn't it was just keep it. It's together, like one of those jokes that like a fifth grader would tell. What did you say about it?
I just said it was threatening.
What's the biggest threat? And then you're like, Kylo Ren's nipple is the biggest threat.
And they were threatening to me.
Yeah, that's like...
I didn't feel comfortable.
Well, that is big screen there.
Yeah, they were...
That's top,
I saw it in IMAX.
That is
his
like...
nipples were like 3 feet.
It's like top
big.
grade 13-year-old humor right there.
All right, well, on a scale of 1 to 10.
This is over.
Let's wrap it up with this. On a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay. You put $100 million into a movie, it's going to look so good. I don't think it could be anything lower than a 6, so I got to give this movie at least a 6. Just based on how well it looked.
I'm going to give it a 6.9. I feel like...
Not a 7?
Not a 7. Not quite. It hasn't earned... It gets the D+ for me. But... just because of the chance it took, I'm glad it wasn't. The Force Awakens was very rehash of A New Hope, I thought, and I'm glad that this one is not just a rehash of Empire Strikes Back, even though it is the best Star Wars movie ever made. Empire Strikes Back. So I am happy with the chances it took, but for me, if you cut out the whole middle part of that movie and just mix the beginning and the end, that's a way better movie.
Yeah, because if they lost the casino, it would go up at least 5 points for me. I mean, it'd be like a 6.5 easy. If you lose the casino, you've got a 10 on your chance, guys. That's how happy I would be.
I agree. But yeah, and then now we all just hope for the best for movie number 9. Yeah.
All right. And with that, thank you for coming on to my channel, Anthopants. You should go check out his channel. Hans Sardo, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.